Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be going over this great article written by a guy, and this article that I'm going to go over. This is in response to a recent article where a bunch of women in their 40s and 50s were, I guess, consulted about how there's obviously no good men out there and the problems with all that, and they're all complaining and all that. And I've done videos on this before, but this guy, this is actually he has a blog, and he's the writer, and he saw my channel, and he liked my videos, so he emailed me last night saying, hey, could you take a look at this, let me know what you think, and maybe do a video. And this article he wrote in response to that article where all the women are complaining is excellent. So I bumped it ahead to do it today because I thought you guys would really enjoy this before the weekend starts. So the title of his article is, this is in response to articles saying, where have all the good men gone? It starts out saying, I came across an article about old women, actually women in their 40s and 50s, but he's saying that anyway, who seem to be struggling finding a good man to marry and live out the rest of her life with. Most of them in this article are the career-driven women who spent their teens, 20s, and 30s in many relationships or have divorced their husband and are back in the market. Instead of picking apart a bunch of hamstring, complaining, and justifying bad behavior, I will answer the questions directly. Number 1, you ignored them when they wanted you. There are plenty of good men out there. They were working hard while you were doing body shots at the fraternities. I was one of them. I studied hard hours in the library. It wasn't a big deal at that point. I didn't want to get married then. I just wanted to focus on my career and become a productive citizen. And guys, you're going to see as I go through this, I guarantee you're going to be able to relate to a lot of these things this guy writes, okay? If not all. And what he just said there, he spent his 20s working on his purpose. He wasn't dealing with women, so good for him. Number 2, traditional dating is expensive and not pleasant for the guy. $100 to $200 a night with a woman who treats it as a free meal ticket and a job interview is very off-putting. Yet that is the standard for relationship seekers. Yet those wanting a one-night stand will meet in a fun setting and get sex for nearly nothing. Which would you choose if you were the guy? Do you think a guy will want to spend the time to plan the date, ask the girl out, take her out, pay for dinner, pay for drinks, pay for the theater, for a thank you, that was nice, but... How many of you guys been in that situation? How many of you guys, when you didn't know any better, went and spent a whole bunch of money and then nothing happened, right? Lots of women will go out with you just to get out of the house and get a free meal. Trust me on this, guys. I've known women that have admitted to this. They do it, okay? Because it's better than being at home. That's why I advise you guys always meet up for one drink on the first date. You'll be able to size them up real quickly. A beer, wine. If you don't drink or you're too young, coffee or tea. You'll save a fortune. It goes on to say, since the relationship market is flipped out after you turn 30, maybe you should be the one planning, asking and paying for dates. Maybe it should be you who gets rejected and scorned for asking someone that thinks they're out of your league. Maybe it is your turn to get used for a free meal, then cheated on or friend zone. If you want a relationship so bad, you should be the one actively seeking for one, not sitting on your hands and complaining that guys aren't doing that for you anymore. Exactly. Guess what, guys? So many guys have women, they put women on a pedestal and make them out to be the ultimate prize. Guess what, guys? You need to start thinking that, you know what? You got value too. You're a prize. And let me tell you guys, once you're past 30, once you spent your 20s working hard, saving, growing, investing your money, getting a good position, starting your own business, keeping yourself in good shape along the way, by the time you get to 30 years old, if you're doing well for yourself, you got your own place, drive a decent car, in decent shape, for those of you that date, it's a buffet out there. Trust me on this, okay? And then by then, for you guys that are in your early 20s, if you spent your 20s gaining this knowledge, reality, not the way that you want things to be with regards to relationships and women, but just how they are, you got it made. Number 3, you became a floozy and the good guys didn't want you anymore. As time went on, you spent too many nights doing one-night stands. You proved yourself untrustworthy, unclean, and unable to develop a healthy relationship. At this point, good guys may consider you for sex, but that's it. If they want that, even that for you. Number 4. Good guys saw other guys get screwed over by divorce or child custody issues. Ding, ding, ding. A good friend of mine, call him Chad, got a girl pregnant. He offered to marry her and followed her to a small town in Alaska for the sake of the kid. But then she ditched him. He had to pay for 18 years of child support. I guess she did the same to 2 other guys. I've talked with many people about their divorces and custody battles. Situations like that scare guys off, lose career women, and divorcees. Number 5. Good guys found the few good girls available and married them. That happens. There are some women that they get to their 20s and they actually come from a more traditional background. They're feminine and they get married in their 20s, in their prime, and they're feminine and they actually have some actual traditional values. And these guys that obviously have been around the block and have improved themselves or bettered their lives, they get them. So for you guys that do want to get married one day, and I made my point against this, I say don't do it, but you still have to look for those types that are in their 20s if you decide to do that, okay? But don't fucking get married. If you're going to get married, guys, do not do it until you're at least 30 years old. Spend your 20s working your ass off, saving money, investing it, growing it, improving yourself, bettering yourself in every possible way. Then if you absolutely, and by the way, traveling the world, hooking up with a lot of women to get out of your system and have a good time. And then if you absolutely must do it, wait until you're 30 years old or older to get married for the first time, okay? I don't think you should do it at all, period. I made that clear. But if you got to do it, for whatever reason, wait till you're 30. Believe me. Goes on to say, this deals with good guys found the few good girls available and married them. Being scared off of loose women, I focused all my energy into finding a woman, and winning her over. The good women were doing what they could to attract a good man early in life, unlike you. She was successful. I was successful. Other good guys who are not so fortunate will not want to commit to not so good women who is a poor gamble on. They will just focus on themselves and fly solo. Number 6, good guys figured out it does not pay to be good, and so they stop being good. Women go for the guys who are more adventurous, the guys who have a higher notch count. It takes a little time to figure that out, but it's true. Seeing the guys who play around, get the hot one-night stands, disincentivizes men to treat women with kindness and respect. Many good men will become bad once they figure out what gets rewarded. Guys, that happens so many times. Guys either get burned enough times and they either just become worn down and end up marrying or with some woman that just bosses him around and treats him like crap and takes advantage of him, and he's pretty much that way his whole life. Or he gets burned enough times that he wakes up, he realizes what's reality, educates himself on everything from dating, relationships, female nature, basically becomes, as they call, red-pilled. And from that moment forward, he becomes that type of guy that she would cheat on him for. Okay? That's how it works. And he never gets burned again. Number 7, you do not deserve a good man. You are old. Your privates probably look like a beef and cheddar sandwich that sat in the garage bin for 2 weeks. Ouch. You stole thousands of dollars from men through trickery and false promises during your life. They do not want you. It would not be just for them to wife you up. A good man's empathy for women like you was destroyed about the 3rd time he gets friend-zoned after paying for dinner while you sleep around with guys for nearly nothing. There are many good men out there who are bitter for being mistreated so much in their youth that they will not give you the time of day now. That's exactly what I was saying. Guys that get burned enough times, they either just keep getting burned their whole lives, or they wake up and they don't tolerate shit from anybody. And I don't just mean women. I'm talking Nobody. Number 8. Good men moved on with their lives. A good man does not need you. He has a career, status, and is capable to get younger, cleaner women. Unless you are looking at an old, broken down man who you would deem as not too good, he can do better and will do better with someone better than you, or do without women altogether. Why would a strong, independent man want a post-wall, used-up financial liability? Exactly. Guys that have their shit together, that have worked hard, turned their lives around, made something of themselves, and of course gotten burned enough times. Why would they, let's say guys in their 30s and 40s or 50s, go for women around that same age that are definitely past their prime, the type of women that probably wouldn't give them the time of day when they were younger, when now that they have their shit together, can go for much younger women, right? It's a no-brainer. And if they do want to get married, which I disagree with, but if they do, can get some of those young women in their 20s that still have some remote amount of values from the old days left over that are feminine and traditional and all that. Number 9. Society teaches men that they are not good and not wanted, reducing the number of quality men. You have seen countless commercials, the stereotypes of the bumbling, useless dads who need the woman to come in and rescue them. This is coupled with rejection after rejection from ages 15 to 25. If a guy doesn't think he is needed or wanted, why would he bother to try and impress when met with so much failure? The SMV 2 through 6 guy who would have been a good man once he gets his act together will simply quit trying to improve himself and crawl into a basement to play video games and watch porn. Even if you are not going for those particular men, this will disrupt the overall market, decreasing the total supply of men and increasing the price of the available good men. Exactly, guys. Number 10. Romcoms and Disney has created unrealistic expectations of the market. How many times have I told you guys about Disney and Hallmark and all that bullshit, making people think that's how it is? No, it's not. Seriously, when is there going to be a single guy who is attractive, wealthy, and has no mental issues that wants to get into a relationship but cannot find someone to latch onto until he finds you? That sounds as unrealistic as a young, beautiful woman with a great personality and reputation that cannot get laid until she finds the less than average Joe down the street. The unicorn of a guy you're referring to does not exist. Yet many women, including those in this article, and I'm going to post a link to the article he's referring to, guys, won't settle for anything less. Logically, if the guy is actively looking but cannot find the right person until he finds you, there will be something seriously wrong with the good guy. Lower your unrealistic expectations. I've told you guys before, all the bullshit in all the movies and TV shows that puts these ideas in so many women's heads, and honestly guys' heads. I mean, they've done their share of brainwashing guys too. These stupid movies and TV shows. I mean, you watch enough of that and you don't know any better, it's going to have an influence. It's going to leave its mark. Number 11. Good men want a family, which means having a young, debt-free virgin bride without tattoos. I married a good woman when she was 23. She was debt-free, a debt-free virgin without tattoos. Right from day one, we started with babies. Every other year, we had one, with a 3-year gap between our last one. 6 is all we had. That's a lot of kids, dude, okay? There's too many people in the world. That's a bit much, but if you can take care of them and don't expect my tax dollars to take care of them, then fine, good for you. But that's a bit too many people. Fortunately, I'm balancing things out because I don't have any kids and don't ever plan on having any kids. I will be retiring not long after the last one moves out. Time is short, and anyone that is not mathematically challenged can figure this out. Sorry, ladies. A 35-year-old woman will try to attract a 45 through 50-year-old man. 10 to 15-year gap is standard for that age. If she is successful and they plan to have kids, it will take about 2 years with courtship and pregnancy, 2 years for the next sibling. That will put him at 49 through 54 with a young kid, or 68 through 73 when they leave high school. What guy would want to do that? He would rather spend his old age in a Winnebago listening to Bon Jovi with Barf. Little Spaceballs reference. The good guy will not want you at that age. He will have been already married off and will be helping the kids with their high school homework at that point. You missed your shot when you were doing body shots at the club. Why would a good man with options want to hook up with some old woman who has a long row of notches on her bedpost? Why would he want only one kid with Down syndrome to continue to support after he retires? Why would he want his children to see the tattoos or hear about the stories of men at the frat parties from their mom? If you are not good, you do not deserve good. Damn, dude. Way to stick it to him. Number 12. A 40 through 50-year-old woman will be a huge financial risk and liability. At that age, she'll be dating a man who is just looking to retire, mid-60s. He spent his life building a savings. Now suddenly, you're expecting him to double his financial liability on a 50-50 gamble. Worse odds if this is a second marriage, of getting divorced and half his stuff taken. He would rather spend 1/10 the money on hookers if he wants to get his jollies off. Guys, that's a much cheaper option if you don't want to date. Okay? If you think about what might be spent on, I'm not going to say the word too much because I know this video is going to have an impact thanks to the YouTube police. You want to do that? The cost of 1 hour with a woman like that versus how many dates you got to do, how much money guys traditionally spend before they hook up, do the math. But that's up to you. By the way, since you are too old for a family and sex really isn't your thing anymore, since you've been ran through by Chad and Tyrone so many times, you are now bored with it, just what is your motive to get into marriage? It sounds like a financial issue. Number 13. Old single women are rarely worth their end of the deal. Absolutely. You got to always ask, what do they bring to the table? Right? Seriously, if a woman is taught that she is an entitled princess when she does little for her man or hardly even takes care of herself, why would it be a good deal for the guy? Other men make better friendships, and he says in parentheses, they are not needy or demanding, and they're easier to talk to. Young women make for better sex. Being solo brings more freedom and money, with modern conveniences. Taking care of a condo is not difficult at all if you have to take care of it only yourself, which is much easier to take care of than the white picket fence setup a woman demands. I'm in a condo. That's all I need. Me and my 2 cats. It's a good sized place for me. It's all I want. I don't need a giant house that I have to pay more money to heat in the winter and cool off in the summertime. I don't have a giant yard that I have to mow. I don't have time for that bullshit. I'm busy, you know? And believe me, I'm in a good situation. And then instead of having all this extra square footage and having to pay more in property taxes and all that, condo works for a single guy. Goes on to say, with modern conveniences, taking care of a condo is not difficult at all if you have to take care of it only yourself, which is much easier to take care of than the white picket fence setup a woman demands. Many guys are seeing this, and they simply are not interested in dealing with relationships with sassy, sophisticated, solvent women anymore. Sorry, ladies, you had your fun. Now it's the good guy's turn. Well, that was a damn good thing that guy wrote. And he was responding to many articles he's probably read recently where these women in their 40s and 50s are complaining they can't find any good men and putting the blame on us. But he focuses on one particular article, which I will include in the description section, because I'm going to include in the description his actual article that he wrote, and then also the one that he's talking about. But this is a very good one, so I thank the guy that sent this over to me. Good job, sir. And guys, let me know what you think about this. That was pretty entertaining for Friday, before you go into the weekend. So let me know what you think about this. Let me know about your experience with these types of women. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.